Hey, what's happening, everybody? Hope everybody can hear me. All righty, righty, righty. What we got here is 8:58. So, what we're going on tonight, as you see, is the inner circle call. So, we're getting ready to make sure that, as we said, in inner circle, that means that there are only people, right, that are invited in here. And I'm going live tonight simply because what we're trying to do is show everybody that you can get your 40 acres and a mule, right? So, what we want to do is we want to do some real estate investing. We're going to show some people, where to start, when you're doing your real estate investing with a personalized cash flow plan. And we're also going to make sure that you understand how to be the bank. All right. So we're going to dive in just a few more seconds, and we're going to make sure that you have a good understanding of what we want to do, what you want to do, so that you can do the things that you want to do. We are real new excellence advancing leadership, which is the Real University. And in about few seconds or so, I have 8:59. So make sure you let everybody know we're going to dive in. If you're trying to get your first home, if you're trying to get your next home, if you're just trying to learn real estate investing, or if maybe you want to try to understand leveraging your credit or understanding asset building. Okay, we're going to jump into that right after these. All right, everybody, welcome back. And like we said, we're going to dive right into, if you can see inside your description, we're talking about real estate investing, and we're also talking about being the bank. But the first things first, we got to understand what it is to have a personalized cash flow plan, right? Because when we jump into things like, no matter what it is, right, we jump into our purpose, because at the Real University, our mascot is the purpose pursuer, right? And so no matter what it is that you're trying to do, you have to do a few things to start at the very basics, at your very foundation, okay? And those things are, you got to make sure that you're getting them out of the way, okay? And that's inflation, that's your taxes, income taxes, what we focus on here, and that's debt, and that's big business or consumerism, or understanding what it is to be a producer instead of being a consumer, okay? And see, majority of the things that we do over time, right? I've seen this. I started business when I was 18 years old, and then I'm 48 now. So what I've seen is that people will jump into the end goal. They want to say, "Hey, I want to be this. I want to be this real estate investor. I want to get into a home. I want to start this type of job. I want to do this type of nonprofit. I want to do this. What do I have to do?" Okay. So they always say, "What do I have to do?" And those things will get in the way of what you need to become, right? So you have to become something before you can actually do, okay? And so what we're going to do tonight, we're just going to dive right into the training of understanding what to do, when to do, and becoming a real estate professional, okay? Because a lot of people will say, "Hey, I'm gonna get my realtor's license," okay? And that's fine. You can get your realtor's license, okay? That's not going to add from what you're doing, right? But it can take away, right? Having a license can take away from doing your real estate investing. And if you have a license, let me know, let's talk, and I can tell you exactly what I mean. But what it is a couple of things: T's you have to cross, I's you have to dot when you're a realtor and you're getting ready to real estate invest as well. So I always reach out to other realtors when I do the real estate investing portion, okay? So when we are joining into this, always understand that we come from an area of, there's two things that you want to do. You tuned in, anybody is tuning in, you watching replay, whatever this is, okay? You tune in because of two things. You want right now lifestyle to be awesome. You want your later lifestyle when you retire to be awesome, right? You want those things to be in place. You want to have good clothing, whatever you need to have both those lifestyles in place, right? And see, what we want to do is to give you a personalized cash flow plan, okay, so that you can do those things. Majority of the times, we just jump into something, okay? We have no vision, no written vision. We have no mission statement, okay? We definitely don't have a business plan. The EIN is not ready, right? The definitely, of course, the EIN is not ready, so the LLC is not in place. And so, a lot of these things are companies like, Mike, what is that you're talking about? All those initials and stuff like that. I don't say these things to be like, okay, talking over and above or trying to be smart or anything like that. These are things that are in place that you need to have. Okay. And if you don't have these things, then guess what? You're not going to be prepared. Just like when the stuff came and everybody was trying to do the loans and things for the PCP and the PPP. I forgot what those things are called, but the disaster loans for the CARES Act, I believe, for the COVID, right? But for so many people didn't have the right things in place in order to qualify for that. And see, I see it all the time. You jump and want to become this, but all the pieces are not together because we've been trained so long to do what? We've been trained to be, we don't have choices, we don't have options because the job is restricting us, right? So when we get an opportunity to do our own thing, we are scattered because we don't want to be put into a box again. We don't want to be told what to do again. And understand, the bank that keeps a river, okay, there has to be a bank for the river, okay? The banks are on each side of the river. If there wasn't a bank, then the river would overflow and it would be chaos, right? So that's what we need. The creativity that you need to have the guardrails up or your banks, okay, to be in place, right? So let's let's dive into our presentation, okay? And so I can show you exactly what this means. Uh, all right. Cool beans. All right. So now, as we said before, your goal is to be able to do your personalized cash flow plan first. Okay. If you don't know what that is, and this is our inner circle call because so we won't go back to, talk about that. But we need to have your cash flow strategy in place. Okay. You need to have your blueprint in place. Okay. So we talk about our number one asset, okay? And when you understand that you are your number one asset. What that simply means is that you know how to use your money, your income to create cash flow, okay? Because a lot of people have income, which means that, hey, I can support, I can take care of my bills, right? But a lot of times we go from check to check. So if the check doesn't come, then we're in trouble, right? So that doesn't say that we don't have the income. What that says is that we don't have the cash flow, which means that the income that we have coming in is not being stretched over time. It's not being able to be taking care of our bills and expenses over time. Okay. So when we do and we understand that the first step they want to do is to free up your money. So we have to understand how you are to be your number one asset. When you're your number one asset, first and foremost, we show you how to use home-based business deductions. Okay. When you use home-based business deductions, that's simple as saying this is your lifestyle write-offs. Okay. Because you already are using money, your mortgages, your utilities, cell phone, mileage, right? All those things you already are paying for. So let's make those things that you're paying for, let's make those things into business expenses. All right. Before we go and jump over into doing this thing, our purpose or our passion, right? Let's get the foundations taken care of. And if you need this, refer to somebody that's within our university or somebody that is, referred you to this presentation. Make sure you get your personalized cash flow plan and understand that how you are your number one asset. Okay. So once we get those things understanding, then we can flow. And like we said before, we have to understand before we jump out there and create income, how we have those four huge obstacles that are in the way. Because when we get there and create income, if you remember back in 08, 09, 2010, when everything fell apart, right? That's because, and the banks got bailed out. Okay, so you can see it doesn't take income, but it understand you need cash flow so that when the dip happens, you have the cash flow to help you to survive throughout that dip. Okay, and so now let's jump into our real estate education. Okay, all right, let me go over here. And if I have not said it, make sure I say good evening to everybody. Right, let's get over here into our presentation. I want to share a little different one. All right, now we're cooking with grease. All right, so let's see what it is. Let's say start from right here. And make sure if you haven't, make sure you got your pens and pencils together, right? Whatever you're doing for note taking, if you're not, make sure you have it taken down on a note on your calendar that says, "Hey, I'm going to watch the replay and take notes at this time," because we're going to dive into some deep things. We have not been going into deep things because we've been talking about the first parts. We've been talking about continuing education, and we've been talking about the other pieces of personal development. Now we're getting ready to go into taking action. Okay, and taking action is exactly what is needed in order to do what we need to do. There we go. Okay. All right, so everybody, you should be able to see the presentation now. You should have the Real University in front of you. Okay, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna check it out myself. All right, let me share this. It's not sharing. Hold on one second, guys, so you can see my screen. There we go. We should be cooking with grease now. There we go. Cool beans. Let's rock. Let's get it done. All right. Let's wake up. Let's get, whatever you got going on, let's get it together. I don't know if it's 9 o'clock in the morning you watching or you watching it live. It don't matter. Let's get ourselves to an understanding that, hey, I can change my life if I can just change my life, right? If I can understand that I can take a couple of steps, just one day at a time, that I can get the right education, the right knowledge that I need to take me to the next level in life, right? And so what I've learned is that as long as I have a system, then there's nothing that I really can't accomplish, because the system's going to keep me in track. The system's going to keep me away from my emotions. The system's going to keep me away from responding to other people that are outside of the system. Okay, so that it keeps me from sabotaging my own self, right? So that's what we want to do now. And so with Real University, what we want to undo is get you an understanding of we teach three things, right? And those three things that we teach are cash flow management, business income, and then investment income. Okay. So when we are learning those things, that gives you a way to say, okay, hey, where am I right now? If I want to start A, B, and C, no matter what this is, you don't look at it and say, hey, I want to do it. And then if I don't make money in the next 30 days, then it's not the right thing, right? We have people from the Amazon, from Microsoft, from Apple that have started in their garages and things like that. Okay, but we as a individual, as a community as well, we get to a point to say, hey, if I attempt, then either is that other individual's problem, or I have a blame, or it's the quit. You know, it's my IQ. And I'm not talking about your number of IQ. It's the I quit quotient, right? What does it take for you to quit, right? Because there are successful people in every endeavor, and I'm going to show you how to be successful in real estate if you just keep yourself watching. Okay, so what we do at Real University, we structure the networks, the resources that you will need so that you can have group uh, participation in real estate, group participation in building businesses, whatever that means for you. So what we do, we use this as one of our strategies. Real estate is a way that we use to help you own a piece of America, to help you get yourself into a position of investing. But we also want to make sure that you have everything else in place along the way. A lot of times people say, I just want to be shown how to make the money, but ends up, not having the money, later because they didn't have the education. Okay, so what we want to understand, we have partnered with one of our companies is Kogo Capital, right? The private money company, and we actually, partner with them so that we can strategically help people to know, okay, hey, what can I trust? Okay, because when you go through this procedure, right, not only do you have to have your cash flow in place, not only do you have to have your business income, you have to have understanding of investment income, okay, but you also have to have personal credit understanding, business credit understanding, and understanding leveraging credit or creating assets. So those are the three steps that we take in the three, well, those are three steps that we take in the two paradigms, okay? But let's look at it, okay? Because wealth is not determined by the amount of money, right? Rather by the number of assets you control. Once again, we're talking about cash flow, right? Not income. A lot of people may say, hey, I got $100,000 coming in, right? But at the same time, they got $200,000 in bills or expenses, okay? So that doesn't get you the control that you need, right? So what we use, and I teach this because regular investing, right? You go to a particular banker, or you may go to a realtor and say, I want to be a real estate investor. Okay. They have a different way of telling you what to do because of where they are coming from. Right. But when you talk to an individual that is actually doing investing, then there are certain things that you have to do. Okay. Certain things that you need. Okay. Now, when you have private money gives you leverage. Remember, we say leverage credit, right? So when you have private money, it allows you to leverage their the monies that they have, okay, in order for you to create more wealth. And it allows you to do that regardless of your credit score, your background, your knowledge base, income status, or employment status. It's completely a leveler, okay, levels the field. Okay, what we do, and just a sample of a few properties going for it, all of these, but single family, non-owner occupied investments. Okay, duplex, triplexes, fourplexes. We're looking into commercial tenants, new construction. So all of these we are focused on. Okay, so it doesn't have to be okay, Mike. I want to do this, and if and then people want to monopolize just one area instead of understanding that you can do one area, but through Real University that you might meet other people that may want to do other areas, and then you can leverage their interest in Real University. While they are working on their things, it creates for you passive and residual income. Okay. Now, what we want to do now is show you the target deal so you can understand private money a little bit better, okay? Because private money is not like your bank, right? It's not like your credit union, okay? So private more money is based upon the deal itself. It's based upon the real estate deal, okay? So what you need to do is have a network and the resources to be able to structure the deal how they like to look at it, right? So these are a couple things that we must have, right? You have to be the first person on the deed, really the only person on the deed. Through depends on how it's structured, right? But we definitely have to be the first one. Interest only. The minimum loan amount we do is 15. Maximum loan amount, there's no maximum. We work out a lot of different things. So what we do is work out loan terms from 3 to 24 months. No prepayment penalties. right? Financial condition, down payment, construction and rehab costs, closing costs, and 3 months reserves required. Okay, so those are the things that you need to have in place. It's not a whole lot of things. See, what ends up happening is when you're not prepared. Okay, this is what takes the time, because now we got to go out and you got to put everything together. We got to put your LLC together. We got to do make sure you get the credit that you need, all those types of things, so that you can have the down payment, right? And then now that you are in place, now the minimum requirements are a lot less than another conventional loan. Okay, and I say less because it's based upon the deal. Right? They still have restrictions and everything like that. Okay. Now, for the average individual, you just have to be a valid U.S. business entity, right? Remember, I was talking about LLC, right? Not individuals, because we're talking about, even though we're talking about single family homes, this still is considered commercial lending, okay? So therefore, we must be working with an LLC, okay? Of course, your personal guarantor is required. That person, the credit score is not really a big deal there, but you do need to have a person that is connected to the LLC. Okay, 40% or more of the owners of the entity are required to be personal guarantors. That just simply means that if you have a company and it's about 5 people around in the company, right? Anybody that has 40% ownership has to be one of the personal guarantors, okay? Or you have to restructure that, okay? It has to be a U.S. business entity with ownership by foreign nationals are permitted to borrow, okay? But it has to be a U.S. business, all right? The property itself, this is what we really want to focus on, right? Property requirements is the non-owner occupancy only. Property types, the SFR is single family residences, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, condos, townhomes, manufactured homes, and commercial. Okay, the title must be clear, and of course, we do a title search upon the beginning. Hazard insurance and everything has to be paid at closing, including flood insurance, to make sure that you're properly taken care of. Okay. And also, we make sure that we do an independent appraisal. Okay. Now, it depends on what type of property we're looking at. If there's a lease, okay, we make sure that that's presented. So anything to do with the property, we have to put it into a package so we can present it to the lender to make sure that they are liking what they see, okay? So now we want to make sure that we have licensed contractors, okay? And that's what you got to use when you're bidding. That's why we have networks and resources to help you to get yourself moving, okay? You're not in this alone, right? So then there are no seasoning requirements on refinances, okay? But what you got to do, what you got to think about when you do a refinance, and even though there's no seasoning requirements, but there is only a 50% loan to value, okay? Which means that if you are refinancing a home at $100,000, okay, and you have that home, say it's paid off, there's zero balance on it, okay, but you wanted to refinance because you wanted to use a portion of that money, okay, and you may have wanted to use a 80,000 of the 100, but the max loan loan 50% to value 100,000. Okay, 50% times 100,000, $50,000. Okay, so those are the types of things that will help you to go through. A lot of times people hesitate because they don't know everything, and that's why the Real University is here, so that it can help you to renew excellence and advance leadership into that area, and we will help you and be there beside you. Okay, like we said before, we talked about refinances and purchases. Okay. Refinance is a business purpose, okay? All funds being used to go back into the current project or cross collateralization, which means that you have another project going on that is approved by that lender that now we can use the equity to go into that project, okay? So of course we'll talk about that, depends on what you have going on. Now, what we do is we have a lending, they have a formula, and that formula is 65%, okay, of the as is appraised value. And we're talking about refinance, not purchase, but refinance. Okay. So that simply means that now, if you're trying to do this is not a cash out. Remember, cash out refi was only 50%. Okay, so if you want to do a refinance and it's just a straightforward refinance, where you can do 65% of the as is appraised value. So no matter how the project looks right now, that's the as is appraised value. That's what the refinance is going to be. So it will behoove you to go ahead and put everything together, build it, add on to it, whatever you need to do, right? Because they're going to use the as is value. Okay, so as that as is value comes in at 100,000, then they will lend you 65% of that 100,000. Okay, now if you have a loan on that property of 55,000. Okay, and they give you 65,000. What's going to happen is 55 goes to pay off the company, and now you have approximately 10,000 to use for your own self. Okay, so just to give you an overview of that. All right. So like it says here, if the borrower receives more than 10% of loan amount cash out at closing, then the loan defaults to a cash out transaction. Okay. Now, well, this is what we want to focus on is the purchase. Okay. Now, Coastal Capital will lend up to 80% of the purchase price or 65% of as is appraised value, whichever is less. Okay. Now, what does that mean, Michael? Yeah, let's let's dive out of that for a little while, okay, so that we can see what that looks like. Okay. Okay. Now, we were talking about as is value. We're talking about, right? As is value is simply just like it says. It means that however the property is, that's what they're going to look at, and that's what they're going to give you the value for. Okay. But what we're going to be working with in purchasing, we're going to be working with the ARV. Okay. And ARV is the after repaired value. Okay. And what you do is you are thinking about, let's say for instance, if the property you're buying is dilapidated, it's crappy, right? And but it's in a great neighborhood. Okay, so it's $100,000 neighborhood, but the property is awful. So now you say, hey, this is a good property. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna put some money into it and sell it or refinance it and rent it. Okay, right? So what you do is you have to first begin with the end. Okay, you have to first begin with the end. That means that you have to find out what the after repair value is. When you do that, now you know, okay, what will this be worth? So you're looking in that neighborhood and you're looking around. If everything in the neighborhood looks like it's run down, and it's even if you did build this particular piece of property up, it really doesn't matter anything because everything around it looks like crap. Okay, so that's not where you want to start. You want to start where it has a great ending. The after repair value needs to be at 100,000. Okay, if that's what you're looking at. Okay, let's look at the property itself. The property. Let's look at the value first. Hold on, before I get ahead of myself. ARV is after repaired value. Okay, now when you see your after repaired value, we use a formula to submit our package to the lender. We use a formula called the ARV formula, and that is after repair value times 65% minus the repairs equals the maximum allowed offer that we're going to do. Right, we're going to make sure no matter what's going on, that is the most we're going to offer for this property. Okay, and how this looks. If you're taking notes, right, you walk up on a property and the property is dilapidated, but you see around it the houses look really good, but for some reason this one right here, for some reason they left it. Something happened, but it looks like to be a good deal. How do you know? Okay, first things first, the site. We go by site. So we look and see, does the other houses look like they could be of value if I build this one up? Yes. Okay, it does, right? So now what we do is we go to places called Zillow.com or Trulia.com. Okay, there you can find your ARV. You can find your after repair value. So you take the house that's dilapidated, 123 Main Street. You go to 123 Main Street, you plug it into Zillow.com. It's going to pop up, the address, and you're going to have similar homes in this area. You're going to have some that's been sold, some that's been for rent, some all these types of things, and it's going to give you an estimate, right? It's going to give you a comparison of all these homes and what they think the value is. Okay, so now you see, okay, yeah, the homes in this area, according to Zillow, Trulia, it's 110,000. So it's better than I thought. So now we have the after repair value. Okay, so we say 110,000. So we use the lesser of the two because we want to have more room for what? Profit. So we use the lesser of the two, of between 100 and 110. We use 100 as the after repair value. Okay, now we've gone to Zula, excuse me, Zillow and Trulia. We got everything there. So now we have the after repair value, 100,000 multiplied by 65%. That gives you 65,000, right? Now you minus the repairs out. How do you know about the repairs? Ask them. Ask the seller. Okay. If you don't have a seller and you can't get anybody on the phone, what you do is you do an approximate. You look at the home and you either get somebody to come with you, but generally what you have is you're working with the real university. So what we do, we'll come in and help you with the evaluation, and we join with you in the group economics, so that then now you're not 100% at risk. We come in with the networks, with the resources to help you to get to that end goal that you're trying to do. Okay, and we always use our solutions. We teach you cash flow management, business income, and then we teach you investment income. See, while you're doing these things, you're preparing yourself to go forward. So many times what we do, and I see it all the time, like I said, is I've been involved in business since I was 18. I'm 48 now. It's 30 years I've been involved in business, okay? And I see it it's just a repeated every time. I've watched individuals from the time I've been involved in social media from '09 till, now 2020. And it's the same process. I see somebody say, I'm starting a business, and then I see them do a lot of advertising on Facebook, this, that, and the other, or they're doing a lot of, trying to, just thinking that if they can just be out there, then that's what's going to happen. They don't have any strategies. Okay. And so what we do is give you the right strategy so that you can do what you want to do. It's not to limit you. It's to give you the basics that you need so that you can do what you want to do. Okay. And when you look at it that way, then there's nothing that can keep you. So now we're looking at the ARV. Okay. So now we have an understanding. We know that the home itself, if it's a property, we'll show you how to get the estimates of the repairs. If it's a seller for the property, just call the seller and say, hey, what do you think is what's the biggest problems that you have? What kind of repairs is needed? He knows or she knows because they've been talking to other people that's trying to buy, right? So they'll say, okay, well, it needs this, it needs that. Or they say, hey, this thing just needs a complete rehaul, okay? And so what we do is we add the components together and we come up with what we have is the repairs, okay? When we do that, now we have ARV, 100,000, okay? Over here. ARV is 100,000, 65%, okay? 165,000 minus repairs. Let's say repairs are 20,000, okay? So now 65,000 minus 20, that gives us 45,000. We asked them what they want for the property and they said 50,000, okay? We already are at 45 and that's our maximum. So, and they want 50 for it, we pass without even looking at it, not even thinking about it anymore, because that's our maximum offer. But if they say the property they want 20 for it and we are at 45, then we know that's an awesome deal and we got to jump on that right away. Okay. So that's how we have an understanding how to purchase, how to understand to start from the end so that you don't have to worry about the mistakes that I made coming through. Right, I made the mistakes because I didn't think that the real estate was going to fall like it did in '09. Okay, So I didn't have the right type of leverage into my houses. Okay, so when everything failed, I lost over $4 million and over 60 houses because of that misunderstanding. Okay, so what I'm doing now is teaching you not to be able to, not to have to do that, but always make sure you get your personalized cash flow plan, your PCP, before you begin any journey. Real estate, investing, getting even getting another job. It's whatever that may be. Okay, because you have to get to a place to where you overcome those top four lifestyle drainers before you start piling on income. Before you try to get into something different, you have to understand what are the things that are draining you, what are the things that are taking the money out of your pocket even as you speak right now, right? So you have to get those things. That's inflation, taxes, income taxes, debt, and big business. Okay. So when you get these things in line, this is not pleasurable to tune in at 9 o'clock and to get the understanding. It's either get an understanding through process like this, or pay more money, or do more time. That's all we have. That's why everybody is doing online, and they're doing value. They're giving more value, giving more value, because a lot more people are actually saying, "Hey, I just need the understanding of what to do." And a lot more people are plugging in and getting video training, video teaching, and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna take this right here and understand." We give you another leg up. We don't just say, "Hey, here's some video teaching," but we say, "Hey, let me grab you by the hand to help you with the video teaching." Okay, so we can also always help, get into place. So let's wrap this up real quick. Let me show you the rest of the presentation. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how individuals are using what we are offering. Now, generally, when you're doing this process, and we say they do it up to 20% or 80% LTV, we talk about the other 20% down, okay? And this is where we talk about group economics. You have equity partners, family, friend, equity in a free and clear property, seller carryback. So it's all kinds of ways that you can get up to 20%, to do the deal, okay? And it's not always 20%. So, and I can show you that sometimes you can get it done with 0%. Okay. But you have to understand where you are and understand how to use your leverage together. Okay. So it's all kinds of ways to do this. You might have your 401k. We can show you how to put that in a self-directed IRA to where you can use your 401k as investments for real estate. Okay. So all these things are available for you, right? And so now with R.E.A.L University, I want to show you some examples, okay? And let's see here. Let me get that out of the way so you can see the screen. All right. Now, loan amount for this particular property, 75,900. Okay. This is Corey. Of course, it's the best way to buy real estate is to do so without using your own money. That's why we teach leveraging credit. When we are buying properties at 50 cents on the dollar and availability is nearly unlimited, fast money at mezzanine loan rates allows us to operate, right? Mezzanine low, okay? That means low or what have you, okay? So now this one, loan amount 55,000, Mary League. Okay. I put 4 properties under contract and all related to my first deal. I can do this because I have access to private money. It's a small price to pay to put 16K in your pocket. That's what I made on the property I just closed on. Okay. So what we do is help with the individuals, that are trying to go through different processes. Okay. And no matter what that is, we can help out with. Okay. So that's what I wanted to do and drop that little nugget with you guys tonight, and to make sure that there is an understanding of what you can do, okay, and what there is available for you, right? Because all the times it's good to tune in and be like, hey, I know this, that, and the other, but there's no application. There's no application, and how do you know it, right? Don't wait There's information all around you. Okay, we focus on three things when we are doing our work, when we are being a purpose pursuer, when you are helping the real you to manifest. Okay, it is three things that we do. Okay, and I'm gonna type those into here. Okay, now as we remember, the best thing to do is systematically approach the life that you have, so that you can systematically appreciate the life that it creates. Okay. So what we do is we have an understanding. We have an hour a day that we put together three things. You don't have to do it in all 1 hour. It can be 15 minutes here, 15, 15, 15. It can be 20, 20, 20, right? However you want to split it. It can be 6, 10 minutes, however you want to split it. Okay. But an hour each day to sharpen your axe, right? That is personal credit. Excuse me. That is the personal development. That's the PD. Okay. And then this TA is taking action. And that actually should be personal development, senior education. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we are. Should be personal development. That's reading books. That's 20 minutes of a good audio. That's 10 pages of a good book. 10 pages of a good book, 30 days out of a month, right? 10 times 30, 300 pages. You've done a book in 1 month. Gone. You're out of here, okay? And it's very simple. It takes you about 10 minutes to do. Okay, and then CE is continued education. Sharpen your axe. What is it what is your purpose? What is your passion? Work on it for about 20 minutes for that day. Work on your purpose. Okay, and then TA, taking action. And that TA is income producing action. Those are actions that's going to carry forth into the next day, to the next week, to the next month, to the next year, right? That is going to produce income. That's getting past organization. That's getting past just working on your own thing. That's becoming a well-rounded individual and taking the right types of action. Okay. So when we do this, the thing is, how do I know how well I'm doing? How systematically are you approaching life? How much quote unquote free time do you have? What do you do within that free time, right? Do you look at your schedule and look at your calendar, and is every day empty except for you working? Okay, if that's the case, that's where all your time and money and effort is going. So therefore, that's all you're going to have. And if they take that away from you, right, and you put all that time into it, what do you do then? You have to put time into you. You have to put time into what it is important to you. And we're not over here at Real University, my econ, who we joined partnership with. We're not here to say, hey, sell another pill, potion, lotion, wrap, or tea, right? We're understanding how does money work for you. Take your understanding of that and use it for your purpose, for your passion. Okay, get better because you want to, not because Mike says, hey, I should be doing this, or I'm gonna tune in so Mike can see me doing. No, it ain't got nothing to do with that, right? And it's in any level of life. You have to systematically approach it. If you want to lose weight, systematically approach your losing weight. If you want to increase the income, systematically approach increasing income and understanding cash flow. Okay. That way you can actually be where you want to be, right? If you want to be whatever it is you want to be, you first have to see what the vision of that thing. And if you see the vision of that thing, that means it's something that you have to become. And if you have to become something, that means it's going to take pain, because you have to change in order to become. Because if you already could receive whatever it was, then you already have it. But you have to be the right type of person to attract that you want. Okay? Because I'm gonna leave you with that, guys, with this one thing right here. God is not waiting, right? He's saying that, hey, what can you manage? It's not, I want to bless you. Of course, that's continual. But the thing is, I can't harm you. So if you can't show me that you can't manage it, then I can't take you another level. There's no reason for you asking for another level if you can't take the pain of this level. Okay? I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to give you more than you can bear. So therefore, that you're doing is you're just operating that you've sown. Okay, but when you get out above yourself, so that you can operate within a system, within a kingdom paradigm, then you're able to assist yourself and stop the self sabotaging. Don't have to worry about what they say because they're not in your system. Okay. So once again, guys, I appreciate everybody plugging in as usual. And let's spread the word about your purpose, right? Let's spread the word about the things that you want to do, right? So if it's like, hey, you meet people all the time that want to do the things that you want to do. And so help them to do that. Don't talk about Real University and My Econ to the point of it's something to sell for them to buy, but it's something to say, hey, it can help you to get what you want to do. Right? We're looking for the self-motivated individual that wants to take what they can learn and implement it and go further. Okay. So once again, guys, this is Real You, renewing excellence and advancing leadership. Okay. And that all that means is that we want you to become a purpose pursuer, not another pill, potion, lotion, wrap, or tea, but it's something that you can do. You don't have to be a wannabe. All right. Peace. You have a good one.